So 2024 has been one of the weirdest years I think I've ever experienced in my life. I'm going to put a timestamp here. This video I'm talking about all the books that I read in 2024, but I feel like I can't make a video without addressing something. But if you don't care and you just care about the books, I understand. So if you want to skip, you can skip to this timestamp. In 2024, something happened that I never expected to happen, at least not right now. In September, my dad had passed away. I'm gonna try to get through this without crying. Okay. And the reason I say it's been such a weird year is because also in 2024, I met my boyfriend. You know, we're still going very strong. But it's just been like such a bittersweet year. And as much as it sucks, like the second half of the year sucked so bad. As much as it sucked, there were sweet moments. You can't just experience one emotion with life. And I think that's like having my dad pass, that was devastating. But I had such a great support team around me. And, you know, my family, we like stood by each other. You know, I know a lot of people don't have that, and I know that I'm lucky when it comes to that. I didn't want to like talk too much about it, but I felt like I couldn't make a video without addressing it. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna collect myself and then we'll talk about the all the books that I read this year. I'll be back. Okay. So actually in 2024, I've read the most I've ever read in 1 year, surprisingly. I read 43 books, which is unheard of for me, so that's such a good thing. I'm very proud of myself. I set such a low reading goal last year. If you don't know what I do for my Goodreads goals, I will add one book to whatever I read the previous year. So for 2023, I only read 14 books, so I set it for 15. It kind of goes like that. But yeah, I am going to stop yapping and getting into the books that I read. Also, the mess behind me, it's storage. We're still in the other house, so if you know about that, then there's that. For January, I had 4 3-stars, 1 4-star, and 1 5-star. So let's unpack. The beginning of the year, I started with Fourth Wing. I'm gonna pop it up right here. Most of these books I do not have with me. They are in the basement boxed up, or some of them I do have, and if I do have it in front of me, which is not a lot of them, I will show it, but it's gonna be a picture kind of video. I'm sorry. Fourth Wing. Everyone knows what Fourth Wing is about, but just in case you don't, think like kind of like in the same rounds of like Divergent, Hunger Games, like dystopian type world. You have dragons, there's some romance, there's a fantasy. I think I had a weird reading experience with it where I took a break from it and then picked it up and took a break. I was doing schoolwork at the time. I feel like if I was to have read it all, like no breaks, I feel like it would have been a 4. But I gave this a 3. I still think about it, so I didn't hate it. The next book I read was The Hunting Wives. I did enjoy it at the time. I gave it 4 stars, but I feel as though I gotta reevaluate my rating system because I literally have zero memory of this. The next book I ended up picking up was The House in the Cerulean Sea. And I actually did enjoy this book. I did give it 3 stars as well. This one was a little bit of magic realism, some found family. Yeah, it was a fun time. I think there's a sequel to this and I might pick it up. I'm debating. We'll see. But it was good. The Second Chance Year. Okay, so I usually always start off a book kind of like this as my first book. I don't know why it wasn't my first book, but The Second Chance Year by Melissa Weisner. This was 3-star. So maybe like it was a good thing. I mean, my first book was still 3-star, but still. It was okay. Basically, a girl gets a chance to do this year over again. Like, it's a pivotal year in her life, and she gets to have a redo of that year. I love like time warp, magic realism type stories. Like, they're my favorite when it comes to books. This one was okay. I didn't hate it. I'm kind of glad that I read it. I got what you were meant to get out of it. So the next book I read was a romance book club. This is by Lisa K. Adams. Basically, the premise of this one is what it sounds like, a romance book club. So the guys get together, they read like historical romance. And you know, they try to mimic the things that are written in the book with their respective spouses. Yeah, it was fun. Again, I need to rethink my rating system because this wasn't that memorable, but I enjoyed it at the time. I gave it 4 stars, obviously. So yeah, I digress. The next book I read was A Court of Mist and Fury. This one I gave 5 stars. It did it for me. I'm still on my fantasy journey. It's been very slow, but you know, it's been going. And this one just, it hit all the right beats for me. It had the perfect amount of spice. It had the perfect amount of romance. It had the perfect amount of plot and action. It did it for me. So we will move on to February. Surprise, surprise, I only read 1 book in February. The only book I read was Twisted Love. I know that I had started a series where I was reading books with love in the title, and I started Loveless, but I DNF'd. So I feel like I should mention that. This is about a girl who is asexual, I believe, so she doesn't have any feelings for anybody, but she's like in college, if I remember correctly. I think she's in college, and everyone's like getting with each other, and she's like she feels like she needs to, but I got pretty far. Oh my god, I have a cute bookmark in here. That's page 195, but I think I wasn't in the mood for it. I don't know if this is a hard DNF or not, but it was a DNF nonetheless. Twisted Love, I gave 3 stars. The spice wasn't it for me. I'm not like a huge spice girly. If it's there, fine, but I'm not picking up a book just for the spice. The thriller aspect of this was thrillering. I enjoyed that. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I would continue on with the series, but a lot of people say the next one is really good. So maybe. Convince me. We will skip along March because I picked 0 books up in March, and we will move on to, oh no, I started this book March 1st. You want to guess when I finished it? April 30th. You want to guess what the book is? A Court of Wings and Ruin. And I like to joke that A Court of Wings and Ruin ruined my life. This was a 2-star. I'm sorry, Sarah Gymnast. I don't know what didn't connect from the second to the third book for me. This one made me ultimately DNF the series. I really don't care about Nesta that much. I really don't care about the Frost and Starlight. Don't care. I don't care. So I'm giving myself permission to DNF the series. I read 3 books out of the 5. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's just not for me. So we move right along to May. I read 2 books in May. The first book I picked up in May was Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. Y'all, I have a whole spoiler failed reading blog. I actually think it's one of my best vlogs, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very proud of that vlog, so if you want to check it out, it'll be in the cards, it'll be down below, it'll be wherever it needs to be, so you can watch it. That one, 5 stars. Always. Love the Twilight series. The next book I read was The Idea of You, and I read this on my Kindle. I gave it 3 stars. I really honestly read it because I really wanted to see the movie with Anne Hathaway. It was fun. It was a cute little moment, little like fanfic type thing where, you know, we have an age gap romance, celebrity trope. I think it's inspired by Harry Styles. It was cute. I liked it. Gave it 3 stars. The movie was also equally as cute. So we move right along into June, where I read 2 books, and both of them were 5 stars. Wow. June was such a good reading month. Anyway, The Reason I Married Him by Megan Quinn. Phenomenal. Okay, I realized I read the series out of order. This is the second book in the Almond Bay series, but they're companion standalones, but you do kind of get spoiled. The first book's characters, like main characters, they show up in the second book, and obviously they didn't know that at the time. I don't think I missed anything. Like, I don't think anything was lost on me. It didn't make me enjoy the book any less. The Reason I Married Him is A Marriage of Convenience. I realized that I really do like Megan Quinn this year. You'll see. The next book I read was Happy Place by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is an auto-buy author for me, though I feel like I haven't read all of her books yet. I've only read 3, and I only did not like 1. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. The one I didn't like was Beach Read. I know that's everyone's like favorite, but I'm sorry, I just don't like it. Okay, we are moving right along to July. I read 4 books in July. I read 3 4-star books and 1 3-star book. The first book I read for the month of July was The Housemaid's Secret by Freida McFadden. Gave us 4 stars. It was not as good as the first one, but it was good. The plot was plotting. We love to see it. The next book I read was The Housemaid is Watching by Freida McFadden. Ultimately, I gave it a 3-star. I think she should just call it quits with the success of The Housemaid and just work on other stuff. She has other good books, so I've been told. I haven't picked up any others. Finley Donovan is killing it. I gave this 4 stars. So camp, so hysterical, so does not take itself seriously. Amazing. Basically, the premise of this is, I don't remember, she's an author or a screenwriter or something. She's something in that sort. Or she's having to talk with someone on the phone about the plot of the book or something. I literally forgot. But someone thinks that she's like a hit woman, and they hire her. A little note and like, listen, you kill this man, I'll give you some money. And guess who's in need of money? Finley Donovan. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's phenomenal. The next book I ended up reading was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. You know what this is about. Everyone knows what this is about. Again, it's Colleen Hoover. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it happened. I wanted to see the movie. There's a lot of discourse about this movie with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. This movie and the author and everything about it is just, this book is just, we're just, you know, there's a lot of drama that is with that, so we're just gonna pretend it doesn't exist, but it was read. I gave it 4 stars, so I enjoyed it. In August, I had a good reading month. I read 7 books. I started The Love of My Afterlife in July 31st, but I finished it August 6th. Okay, this one, it's kind of like same vibes as like Finley Donovan's, kind of campy. Girl like chokes on something. She gets... You done? You can come here with me. We have cinnamon here because I don't know what's going on. But The Love of My Afterlife. We're going to try this again. Girl dies. No, it's okay. Girl dies in the waiting room of to get to heaven, I assume. She meets, presumably, love of her life. And I think it was like an accidental death or something. He survives. I don't know. Coma? I'm not sure. He survives. She's begging her afterlife counselor, like, hey, send me back, because he was fine. Very camp. Fun. It was fun for what it was. But I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read after that was The Way I Hate Him, and that is the first book to the Almond Bay series by Megan Quinn. This one, I feel like I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more if I read it in order. Like if I read the first one first and the second one second. But ultimately, I do really like the second one more than the first one. The first one I gave 3 stars. It was fine. I grew an attachment to majority of these characters, and the new one's coming out sometime this month, I think. I'm pretty sure. I like the series a lot. The next book after that I read was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. So we know how I feel about the Court of Thorns and Roses series, so I was like, maybe I will like the other one, the Throne of Glass series, more. I read the first 2 books fully.
I started this in December, but didn't finish it yet. I'm still I'm getting there. It's Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, and I like it so far. It's really good, and it's just something I'm not used to. It's really high fantasy.
It's not high fantasy. It's just fantasy, but you know, whatever.
But I kind of got into it within a couple of chapters, and then I got hooked on it, and I really like it, so can't wait to finish it.
DNF'd the 3rd book, not because I didn't like it. I think I just wasn't I read this years ago. When I'm talking about like with the OG covers, years and years ago. I don't think I was like fully invested or fully understood the gravity of what was going on. So I said, okay, I'm going to restart the series. I'm going to start with The Assassin's Blade because I haven't read that yet. And people say to start with it. So I started with The Assassin's Blade and I gave that 4 stars. Enjoyed it. It was really good. Like, are you kidding? It was so good. My goal for this new year, I'm going to try to read more of the Throne of Glass series. Because the first like novellas, and I'm not a novella girly. I hate most novellas. This one, I understand why people say read it first. I understand. I get it. The next book I read was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This one was a freaking 5-star. This one was so good. Are you kidding? This was my first Abby Jimenez book, and I made sure I was doing it in the correct order that it needs to be read. So this is also like a standalone companion series. So it's like Part of Your World, then Yours Truly, and then Just for the Summer. Listen, this little town that they're staying in for most of this, I wanted to like visit. I've never like wanted to visit a town more, like a fictional town, than I do that town. I forget the name, but I'll place it here. You have people from like different classes. So you have like a doctor and then this guy who runs bed and breakfast kind of situation, and they fall in love, and it's so good. The next book I ended up picking up was City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. Surprisingly, for middle grade, I liked it. It was 3 stars. I had this forever. This is a series as well. Low key, I wanted to continue reading because the little ghost friend that she has, like the little friendship she has with the ghost, kind of adorable. And I don't really like middle grade too much. I've been trying. It's not my favorite. But this one, I mean, I felt like it would be okay because of Victoria Schwab, and I was correct. The next book I read after that was Good Girl, Bad Blood, and I gave this 4 stars. This was part of a series that I never posted, of me continuing series that I'm currently in the middle of. I like started to film that vlog and I just never continued with it. For that one, I read Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I'm very happy that I continued with the series. I want to just finish it off. I just have 1 more book to go, and that's what As Good as Dead. And I heard that one's hit or miss, but I feel like it might be hit for me. Basically, the first one is about a teenage girl trying to solve a murder that happened in her town years later. I remember liking it. I can't remember specific details. So take that for what it is. I may need like a recap before I go into the next book. At the time, I enjoyed it, so we'll take it. Also, for that series, I read Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shawnee McGuire. So cute. They like find magical doors that take them to like their perfect world. But this one is a story about like Jack and Jill. So good. Like, I need to buy more of this series so I can continue. I know they're on Kindle Unlimited, but if I read on Kindle Unlimited, I will not buy it physically, and I have the first 2, so I have to like force myself to buy it so I can read it. The next book I read was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I read it on my Kindle. I don't even think I opened this once, but I owned it. And this is the second book, like I said, from the Part of Your World, and it's Yours Truly. This one was 4 stars. This one I had a complicated relationship with, if I'm being honest. My father passed in September. So I started this book when he was in the hospital, and it was a lot of hospital talk, surprisingly, in this book. And I was like just surrounded by hospitals with my dad, and I didn't pick this up until like maybe a couple weeks after he had passed, just to like get my mind off things. This probably would have been a 5-star, but again, taking breaks with books doesn't really do well with me. It's kind of hard to like look, honestly it's hard to look at it. I do want to continue on with the series. Yeah, that was my little like a vlog. I didn't finish it, but I ended up reading all the books. I finished it for me, but not for you. I started this August 1st. I didn't finish it till November 1st. Again, I took a little break with that, and I didn't read anything in between. But in November, I didn't pick anything up until the 25th. And I read a lot of those Christmas novellas, so we'll just rapid fire them. They're novellas. They're romance, Christmassy books, so that's pretty much all you really need to know. For Merry Ever After, I rated it 2 stars. Cruel Winter with You, I rated it 3 stars. All by My Elf, I rated it 3 stars. Merriment and Mayhem, I rated that one 4 stars. Only Santa's in the Building, I rated it 3 stars. That was all that I read in November. So technically that was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically 6 books because I finished Yours Truly. Then we move on to December. I don't know why I had such an amazing reading month for December. I'm not questioning it. Well, like I kind of have a feeling, like I kind of think I know why. I think it has a lot to do with, you know, my dad passing, but also like reading is such a normal thing that I would do, and I was searching for like a bit of normalcy in my life. Reading was the thing that I was searching for. So for the month of December, I read 14 books. I read 14 books. I've never in my life read 14 books in 1 month, ever. That's a blip, okay? This probably won't happen again, but you know, it happened. The first book I read for the month of December was How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. 5 stars. 5 stars. I know there's some like debacle. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think the people that hate it want it for the spice. The people that love it want it for the plot. I am for plot. Basically, they live in a town where it's Christmas all the time, and this girl comes. She visits her aunt. She hasn't visited in a long time. We have like friends to enemies to lovers situation. So good. Read it. The next book I picked up was Christmas Baggage. Majority I read these are from Kindle Unlimited. I was on a Kindle Unlimited kick. You know, getting my money's worth. Christmas Baggage by Deborah M. Hathaway. I gave it 3 stars. It was this girl going to England. Her friend's family lives in England, and so she goes there and she like falls in love. Holiday rom-com, you know? The next book I read was My December Darling by Lauren Asher. This one was technically, I think, is a short story novella. So freaking cute though. Also, the Puerto Rican rep in it, phenomenal. I didn't know that going in, but you know, I'm Puerto Rican, so you know, relatable. It was such a cool thing to see like my traditions in a book, because my usual like traditions, like Christmas traditions, it's not the American way. So it was really cool to see. I really enjoyed all of that, but I gave it 3 stars. Still so good. The next book I read, I fully listened to an audio. It took me a day to finish this, was Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I was doing this and I was coloring on my iPad. I don't know about you, but I fell victim of a bunch of those TikTokers that color. I was not about to spend a lot of money when I had a perfectly good iPad, so I figured it out how to do it, and it gives me the same effect. It gives me the same happiness that I would be if I was actually coloring. So I was doing that and audiobooking a lot for this, and I meant to pick it up physically, but also this yellowed so much. It's so bad. Like this side's fine. I don't know what happened. It was good. This one was a 3 star. I think it's a standalone. There's definitely room for a series if she wanted to, but I'm okay with it being a standalone. I'm like in the middle of so many series right now. The next book I read was Out on a Limb. I actually do own that one, but it's in the other room. This book, this is by Hannah Bowman Young. I heard everyone raving about it and I was like, ooh, maybe. maybe I can rave about it too. And I'm here to tell you I can rave about it because I gave it 5 stars. This is about 2 people who have like a one-night stand and the girl gets pregnant. Surprise! And she's like dealing with what to do and how to reach out to the guy and yada yada yada. Okay, this was my first like pregnancy trope and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that we like followed her through her pregnancy. I enjoyed seeing how big the baby is gonna like be each chapter. That's so cute. So I took a break from the holiday romances, but then we went right back in. The next book I read was my favorite holiday, and this one was fine. This is by Lauren Blakely. It's a fake dating trope with like her boss. Also the single dad trope is in here. Done so well. I kind of want to bump this up to 4 stars because honestly I think about this book a lot. I gave it 3 stars originally, so we'll just stick with that. The next book I ended up reading was The Gift by Frida McFadden. This was a short story, Christmas thriller-y kind of thing. It was mid. It was 3 star. There's a difference between this 3 star and the last 3 star. I literally need to reevaluate my ranking system, but I might lower The Gift to 2 stars because I think that's more accurate because I liked it. I just didn't love it. The next book I read was You Again by Kate Goldbeck, and this is basically like When Harry Met Sally. 2 people keep on running into each other at different times of their lives, and eventually, you know, one thing leads to another. Done so well. I wish I had the physical book. I had borrowed this from Libby and read it on my Kindle. I wish I had a physical book because on the back of it is like all the locations that they like went to in the book, and I like low-key want to do a vlog of me visiting each location that they talked about in the book, and like, you know, I think that'd be so fun. That'd be so fun. But I don't have the physical book, so I may just have to buy it for myself and like attempt to do that vlog. Plus it'll give me an excuse to go to New York City. It's just a 2-hour train ride. I will do it. The next book I read was The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ally Carter, and this book is Knives Out meets holiday rom-com. So stinking good. I gave this one a 4.5 stars, and listen, this was another banger of a book. The mystery aspect, I was hooked. I was invested. I wanted to keep reading. Read this fairly quickly. The next book I read was 25 Days by Per Jacobson. This one is kind of like a Christmas advent calendar situation, but book form. So you read a chapter a day. So like December 1st, you would read the chapter 1 and it's December 1st for them. December 2nd, it'll be December 2nd for them, and it just keeps on going. Okay, this was a 3 star, but genuinely it was really interesting. There were some aspects where I was like, okay, but for the most part, you know, some chapters were hitting better than others, and that's okay. I think it was a cool experience to read a chapter a day, and I read it alongside all my other books, so I would just read the chapter and then read a different book, and it was fun. The next book I read was The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman. I read this because I wanted like an introduction to Frederick Bachman, and it was a short story and it's one of his new ones. I wanted to know like his writing because he's an author that I've been having my eye on, but I haven't actually bit the bullet and bought any of his books. But this one, I gave it 3 star, but again, I think it just had to do with it being so short. I could see potential if it was longer. I do want to read like a full-length novel by him. I could see me really enjoying it. I don't do well with like short stories too much because I feel like I need to know the characters or like be invested, and short stories, they end so quickly. It's like by the time I am invested, it's over. The next book I read after that was The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart. This one was a 4 star. This one was so cute. This is like forced proximity with your ex. Like they broke up and they didn't talk for however many years it's been, and then they talk, but obviously miscommunication, and once they realize what happened, things are okay. But they have the like kind of like enemies to lovers, like they don't really like each other because of their ex's situation and how they ended it. But then you see them slowly start to, you know, start liking each other. The next book I read was Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and I truly believe I read this at the perfect timing for me. Like I mentioned before, my dad had passed away. This has to deal with grief. There's a specific scene, if you've read it, where she's like in the closet. My boyfriend was over and he was watching the game and I'm reading this. I'm just sobbing. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I am not okay." Also, this was a gift, I think, from Cami. Yeah, thank you, Cami. I truly believe if I read this any other time, it wouldn't have hit. So I definitely picked this book up at the perfect time. The romance was very sweet, very cute, and I get it. I get why people are ranting, raving about this. This is probably one of my favorite Christina Lauren books, like, ever. And the final book I read was The Housemaid's Watching by Freda McFadden. This one was a 2-star. I didn't see the purpose of it. I think she just wanted to, I don't know if she's like, I don't know. It's like a book in between the second and the third book. That was what I ended the year on. That was every book I read in 2024. All 43 of them. December alone definitely helped. I want to like be more disciplined and make more videos because obviously I'm having a great reading moment right now. I miss being creative. I miss this. This is a normalcy for me. And like I said earlier, I need the normalcy. So, well, I'm gonna continue to try and post content this year. I don't know how regularly. My goal is to maybe post about 2 videos a month, and I think it's doable. Here's to 2025 being an amazing reading year, but also a better year overall than last year. So if you're still here, even with my unusual post schedule, thank you. It's really well appreciated. Yeah, I want to make more content, so that's what I'm gonna do. So, yeah. Alright, I think that's all I want to say. Bye.